Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we are going to look at how we can find the cube roots of up to 6-digit numbers. And of course, 6-digit numbers are those numbers which are less than a million. 1 million is the cube of 100. So we are going to be looking at cubes of numbers which are less than 100. Or we can say that we'll be looking at cubes of 2-digit numbers and how we can find their cube roots. Now, let's look at this table right over here. I've taken some numbers like 10, and the cube of 10 is 1000, the cube of 50 is 125,000. But how can this table help us? So let's say we have been given a number which is 85,184, and we are told that it's a perfect cube. Can you find its cube root? And a perfect cube is simply the cube of a whole number, like 87 or 63 or 50 or something like that. Now, can we find its cube root? Let's see. Let's compare 85,184 to this table right over here. You see that 85,184 is greater than 64,000, but it's less than 125,000, right? So we can say that its cube root will be greater than 40 but less than 50, because the number you will have to multiply with itself 3 times, or the number whose cube you will have to take to get to 85,184 is greater than 40 but less than 50, because 40 will only take you to 64,000 and 50 will take you to 125,000, which is greater than what we need. So we can conclude that our answer will be 40 something, right? It'll be 40 something. It can be 42, 45, 46, 48, 49, but not 50. Let's take another example for now, which is 571,787. And now let's compare this number to this table right over here. We can see that it's greater than 512,000, right? It's greater than 512,000, but it's less than 729,000. So its cube root will be greater than 80, but less than 90. So it'll be 80 something, okay? 83, 85, something like that. Now we have partially solved our problem, because we've been able to find the tens digit of the cube roots of these numbers, but now all we need is their ones digit. Now let's look at this table to figure out to figure these ones digits out. If you observe this table, what I've done is actually taken uh, some numbers like 1 and its cube, 21 and its cube, 5 and its cube, 25 and its cube, and a lot of numbers like this. So now if you observe carefully, you will notice a pattern. Whenever we take the cube of a number whose ones digit is 1, cube is also going to have 1 in its ones place. And whenever we take a number whose ones digit is 3, its cube is going to have 7 in its ones place. Whenever we take the cube of a number whose ones digit is 9, the cube is also going to have 9 in its ones place. So it's a pretty good pattern because it can help us. Because we can conclude that if two numbers have the same ones digits, their cubes will also have same ones digits. So for example, if we take the cube of a number whose ones digit is 8, the cube is going to have 2 in its ones place. Or we could go the other way around. We can say that if we take the cube root of a number whose ones digit is 2, the cube root is going to have 8 in its ones place. Now, let's apply this pattern to these numbers here. So let's look at 85,184 first. Its ones digit is 4, so it's like this, right? So its cube root is going to have 4 in its ones place. We can just write 4 here. This number has 7 in its ones place, so it's like this number. So its cube root is going to have 3 in its ones place. So it will be 83. And just like that, we have figured out what the cube root of these numbers is. Now let's just take one more example to make sure that we get it. Let's take 373,248. 148. And we want to find the cube root of this number. So let's compare it with this table here. 373,248 is greater than 343,000, but it's less than 512,000. So its cube root is going to be greater than 70, but less than 80. So its cube root, if we take the cube root of this number, let me make it clear, it's just the cube root. We have taken the cube root. I'm sorry for this bad handwriting. So anyway, cube root of this number is going to be 70 something. 70 something. And now if we look at the ones digit of this number, it's 8. So it's like this. So its cube root is going to have 2 in its ones place. So it's going to be 2. So it's 72. So just like that, we have figured out that the cube root of 373,248 is 72.